According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, appreciation is a feeling of being grateful for something. I don't think you can truly understand appreciation until you have invested countless hours into an activity, task, or project. In the end, you have to put good in to get good out. You have to work hard to get it to work out. Time, at its core, is money. It has value, oftentimes far beyond any monetary worth. The investment of time in order to ultimately achieve success, that is the most humbling experience I can imagine. After shooting hundreds of arrows downrange all summer, running trail cameras to monitor the deer herds on our properties, hanging stands while considering optimal wind directions, bedding areas, deer movement, and saturating my brain with information about deer hunting strategies through reading, discussion, and thought about the animals I passionately pursue, their behaviors, their habitat, their thought process. After all that, am I finally ready? Do I finally have all the tools I need to be successful on my hunts in the whitetail woods? I have found that you can never be fully prepared for an upcoming deer season. Mother Nature just evolves much more rapidly than we do. And so, even though having hunted for many years, it is impossible to guarantee anything. That is what makes hunting the passion it is for me. That is what drives me, keeps me coming back. The constant challenge, the ever-changing circumstances, the rapid adaptations that I have to make to exist in Mother Nature's beauty and to go undetected by these majestic and proud animals, that is appreciation. That morning, listening to the Ohio woods erupt into life for the first time since February was such an incredible feeling. Just as incredible as it is every time I find myself in a tree stand at the dawn hour. Opening day had come. The long-awaited deer season was finally here. My thoughts can finally wander, drift from place to place without the disruption of traffic, the blare of sirens, the simple yet persistent hum of electricity. It all fades away, and I can be close to God and His glorious creation. Even though that morning passed without sight of a single deer, I appreciated the opportunity to immerse myself in such beauty. There is something about that time of year. Maybe it's the humidity finally leaving. Maybe it's the changing of the leaves from summer green to autumn orange, red, and yellow. Maybe it's the smell of the harvest as the field crops are being picked. Maybe it's the chill that hangs on the morning air just a bit longer. I don't know. Regardless, the atmosphere changes, and with it, so does my mood and mentality. The business of life persists, but the ability to displace myself from that reality as I climb into a deer stand, that's as calming and serene a feeling as any. Getting ready for that evening's hunt, loading the truck, heading down the road, a surreal feeling came over me. Everything you just heard hit me like a brick. How lucky am I to have been raised in this type of environment? How lucky am I to be able to share this passion with so many close friends and family members. What an awesome feeling. Arriving to the stand and starting my ascent, the joy had not evaded. I sat in that stand at first, running through the possible scenarios in my head, playing out events that had not yet come to fruition. I was putting all that hard work and dedication to learning about whitetail hunting to the test. Would it pay off? Had I patterned these deer correctly and chosen the right stand that would give me the best opportunity to kill, to provide for my family? There was movement several hundred yards to the west. After sitting in wait for several hours, just as the sun was descending from its throne in the sky, deer finally started to move. I picked up my bow and prepared to watch the long walk those deer had to close the distance and present me with my opportunity. There are a lot of people confused about why we hunt. They think it is barbaric to take a creature's life. They don't understand. It is not without remorse that I walk up to an animal I have just harvested. I don't kill, I don't hunt, simply to satisfy some barbaric need inside me to take life. I don't feel some sick sense of power at the sight of death which I dealt. We as hunters are far more delicate, far more compassionate individuals. The emotions that course through my veins, just as does my very life's blood, when I loose an arrow, pull the trigger, and walk up on the animal whose life I just took, are much more vast and confused than you might imagine. Sadness at the thought of that animal's vision fading to black as it draws its last breath. Fear at the thought that life can be taken so easily. Such a fragile thing life is. And yet, a feeling of content begins to exude. Yes, I took life, but it will not go unused. That animal will go to provide many meals for my family, just as it would have hundreds of years ago. The act of taking that one life has provided life itself for 5 mouths, the mouths of my family. In the olden days, native peoples would often hold large ceremonies of dance, song, and feast, thanking the gods after a harvest of meat that would provide for them for many days. In a way, the emotions that I feel as I approach my kill is my own version of that dance before the gods. I give praise to the animal and to God for providing me with the opportunity to take its life. I ask God and the animal to nourish my family and loved ones through the meals it will provide for us. I replay the situation in my head as the events unfolded. I relive it as I walk up on the animal. Though dead, neither its majesty nor its proudness have vanished. We are not bloodthirsty killers, bent to take our frustrations out on wild beasts. We are conservationists, with a mind for understanding the balance and the circle of life. We know our place on the wheel. We know that, just as the animal of harvest sacrificed its life to provide life for others, so too will we one day return to the ash from where God built us, and in doing so, will provide life for the smallest of creatures of creation. In the end, when it is all said and done, I believe that is the truest definition and example of appreciation.